I told that I would like to share my experiences, and maybe you can have some question answer session later on, or in between also you can type your message so that the organizer can put up the questions. So how to get a research project, how to get fund, and how to get your project approved. So the strategically and the techniques and the interactions, this title is given by them. But yes, of course, very good title. This title is very, very excellent they have given. How to make an effective interaction for getting the research fund. So my presentation will not be a technical presentation. So there will be only text. So there will be no any figures or data. So as I told, if you want to get a fund or if you want to get a grant for doing research in your institute, including college, universities, or IITs or CSIR lab anywhere in the country, so there should be, funding is very, very necessary. Without a fund, a scientist or researcher cannot do anything. Without procurement, without buying the equipments, without buying the consumables, without buying your requirement, even when I visited one of the CSIR lab in Delhi, so one scientist, she told me that she need a scissor. On k.Saikia, she need a scissor. So how to get it? That you have to buy. Otherwise, you have to spend from your pocket. Sometimes some of the faculties also told, some scientists told that no, I spend from my pocket. So so then how to get the research? So role of funding is a very, very essential. So to get a fund, there should be an integration of integration of your ideas. Suppose I have done my PhD in X-ray diffraction. So my PhD is a different thing. That let me tell you that doing PhD is a different thing. When you are doing PhD with a fellowship like JRF or with some other projects or from your own investment or in university with a topic given by your supervisor, but to get a money, it is like a business. If you want to get a money from the funding agencies, then your ideas should be very, very excellent. If it is not excellent, but it should be relevant. So the topic of your project proposal, in my opinion, it should be timely and relevant. It should be timely. If I write, suppose I have done in X-ray diffraction, and I think that I am expert in X-ray diffraction, so I will write a project to get fund in X-ray diffraction. So that things may not be relevant at the current time. So how your X-ray diffraction knowledge can give you a relevant or timely topic of a project proposal in which you can get the fund. So the most important thing is to write a proposal for funding. The topic should be current and relevant, what I feel, and it should be integrating your past ideas of your PhD or of your project or of your own ideas. It is not essential that to get a research project he or she should be a PhD, but in some cases in DST, let me tell you that they also require doctor of philosophy, a PhD degree to get a project. But it is not essential for other funding agencies like Ministry of Arts Science, Ministry of IT, Ministry of Health. A lot of funding agencies are there. So PhD is not a criteria sometimes. So then you have to understand the ecosystem. That means where you are and what type of research we are going to, what type of research proposal we are going to submit, what are the current requirements, what is the current scenario of the funding agencies, what type of research they are usually give. So a lot of things are there. Suppose if we want to apply in DST, so most of the project should be in the basic or fundamental science. They have a different call. They have a separate call for applied research or translation research also. But in most of the call, the basic and fundamental science, they get importance. But then also the basic and fundamental science also, what I feel that if we want to do a basic and fundamental science type project, then the novelty should be very high. high novelty projects are only considered for basic and fundamental categories. But in case of applied or in case of innovative project or innovations, maybe they will consider your innovation or your ideas, how to make it more better or how to make it far better, far better, or how you can improve your ideas that can also be considered in case of applied or in case of a translation research. So translation research is different, in translation category, this is related to the commercialization or the related to the scale up of your ideas. Those things fall under the translation research. So the second point which I am telling, the research or institution or agencies, college, university, this is a very, very important factor. So so the research ecosystem is generally considered by the funding agency or the grant. Suppose, for as an example, if I apply a bank loan in State Bank of India, I will definitely get, maybe 10 lakhs or more. Because, or any college faculty will apply, they will get 10 lakhs or more. Because they will see your income tax return, they will see your salary slip, they will see in which institution you work. So those things, as considered by the bank to get your loan, so those your stakeholder, the type of stakeholders and the facilities also, they will see before, they definitely see before your before approval of the grant. But this is not a mandatory. In that case, the another, I have another slide. What I think that we should go for a joint proposal or or collaborative proposal, and definitely they also in recent calls, in very recent, there is a call from DST and ANRF. So they're stating that they're encouraging to collaborate with the other institutions. So that is just I told you to compare the situation. But if your ideas is very, very excellent, then I think definitely they will consider a project in spite of, if somebody is belong to an institution where facilities or infrastructure are minimum. So, but usually they look, because in my case also they look those things, the type of institution or type of expertise. So this is one of the major point. So I think I will not go to the funding agencies. I think if somebody don't know, there are a lot of funding agencies. Just we know the DST only, CSI, DST, but there is a DBT, ANRF, and ministries. All the ministries, most of the ministries, including the Ministry of Information and Electronics, Ministry of Health Science, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Food, Ministry of Petroleum, all the ministries have the provision for funding access. But the thing is that we only know the DST and DBT, and more particularly CSIR. But I would like to state to all participants that if you are not getting project in DST, DBT, or CSI, you definitely could approach the ministries, and ministries are very, very interested to give the projects to the people, and more particularly the northeast part of the country. So these are the challenges. Just I discussed in my previous slide, the priorities they consider. One is your ideas, how you are giving your ideas to consider the regional issues or the global research problem. If you are suppose if you are proposing a problem which is very, very much regional, suppose some project proposal, I want to assess the quality of water of Dhansiri River in Golaghat district. I belong to Golaghat, that is I am telling. I want to assess the water quality of a river system in Golaghat district. So this may be a very, very regional specific issue. This project may not be approved. This scientific idea may not be approved by a central the funding agencies of our country. Maybe it is approved by our state government or state funding agencies, but may not be a country national funding agencies. So these are the areas. But suppose we are considering the Dhansiri River water quality, but we are addressing a global challenges. Suppose we are addressing a issue like an uranium in water. Suppose uranium in Dhansri River water of Golaghat district. So although this is a regional issue, but you are challenging a issue of uranium. Uranium is a global issue. So this way you have to integrate to get a good idea or to make attract to the funding agencies or to the people who are the stakeholders of getting, releasing the fund. So then the institutional strength, I told you that, if somebody apply somebody from a, suppose somebody from a, a medium range colleges, since this, I think most of the participants in colleges, such a colleges which do not have sufficient infrastructure facility or strength is applying a project in a DST. So, and his idea is, suppose his idea, not idea, his proposal, his research component or his work component is such that those work components are not possible in his or her colleges, then they may have some issues that how you are going to complete the project. It is because if a bank releases a loan to a person, if he or she does not have the capacity to return the money to bank, the bank will not approve the loan. So in that way, they will see the institutional strength. So what I suggest, if you really want to get a fund, you want to do a project, you write a project with a global challenges in a very small amount and with the facilities available in your colleges, available in your institute, which is done by myself in my career. I have seen the facility of the institute, then I apply the project. That project can be completed in institute. So there are a lot of novel ideas. Suppose if you have a UV visible spectrophotometer, you can do a lot of things, for science and to get a Nobel projects. So somebody will say, nay, but I will say that we do not have even UV visible spectrophotometer. So I have seen a professor in Kolkata. I think some people may know his name, but I will not say his name. He is preparing the beautiful structure of nanomaterials with different type of inorganic salts and publishing in JACS, Journal of American Chemical Society, regularly, per month, one paper in JACS. So I asked him how it is possible. Do you have a? Then he told me that I have an electron microscope, and the preparation he is preparing in a very simple in a beaker and those glassware process and salt heating and then preparing. Then the salts. The product is analyzed electron microscope. Yes, we do not have an electron microscope, but we have those wet chemical laboratory in most of the institute. So electron microscopic study can be collaborated with a person, but the ideas of preparing the new inorganic alloys or inorganic combination of metals. So I will not go for much technical, but since we have basic ideas of preparing salts, so you can prepare new salts, new compounds, then you can go for electron microscopy in any other nearby institute. So this way the institutional strength can be compromised or can be collaborated. And then the funding agency roadmap, actually, the funding agencies also have sometimes has some of the policies that they will give project to, to this state or this place or these areas. So those things we have to look after that, what type of funding agency will apply. If you write something and apply DST may not give you, but if you're writing an arsenic in health issue, why don't you apply in Ministry of Health? So maybe Ministry of Health has a priority areas, have a road maps in arsenic in water. So so this is the how to write a research proposal. I think most of the people, most of us, we know how to write a proposal, but we fail to write a proposal. We always, I found most 80 to 90% person fail to write a proposal. The biggest problem is there is no clarity. There is no clarity what they will do, what the PI, the team will do. They will just write characterization of this. So clarity means, in my opinion, or what I feel, such that if I'm driving a car from my home to my to Guwahati, I'm driving a car from Jorhat to Guwahati. I know, I have my clarity that I will go this way. I will take a cup of tea in Bogakhat. I will take a coffee in Jakalabonda. I will just stop in the somewhere. I will talk, and then I will go to Khanapara. I will go below the flyover. I will go over the flyover. I will go and I will enter to my brother's home. So that means I know my roadmap. I know my goal. I know my objective. In a similar way, a project proposal should have that much of clarity. That what we will do, how we will do, and why. But আমি কি করব? আমি কব যে, okay, I am speaking Assamese. What we will say that, I am writing this and give me money. We should write why you should give me money. Why you should give me money. That things we have to address in the proposal. So clarity of the objective, clarity of the roadmap, clarity of the methodology, and clarity on the novelty. If there is no novelty, what is the gap in the existing work and your work, timelines, deliverable, what you will deliver. I will go to my brother's home in Guwahati. This is my that is my goal. I will know if my friend asks me in Jakalabandha that please stay and go tomorrow in the morning, then no, I have to reach Guwahati by today. So this is the goal and deliverable. So in that similar way, the project, if these things are there in the project, then I'm telling you, and nobody can stop you getting a fund in spite of having lack of facility in your institute. They will suggest you that excellent project, you just contact IIT Guwahati, you just contact NIPER Guwahati for your work. They will give a chance to revise your proposal. But if you do not have the clarity and goal and a roadmap, nobody will give a project. So budget part, financial part, the only thing is that your budget should have, justification. Okay, the budget should have the budget should have the justification. I mean, why you need this, why you need JRF, why you need equipment. Suppose suppose k.Saikia college wants to increase the infrastructure. They want to buy an FTR spectrometer. They want to buy an UV spectrum. The principal wants to increase the infrastructure through a project. If he gives, suppose there is a call of a good amount of grant. If he or she gives a lot of equipment, then they will understand that although he's submitting a proposal on science, but they have intention to increase the infrastructure of the college. So they will reject your project. The case was happened to me also in one time. So the justification is very, very essential, so that they will feel that this equipment, this personnel, this consumable or contingencies are very, very important. So I will not go details on the those budget components, because it varies with the different funding agencies. Some funding agencies have different rule. But the thumb rule is that there is no limit of total budget project, but the contingency, consumable, or traveling components, there are some ratios. Suppose the 10% of your recurring, there should be 10% of recurring head with the consumables or with the contingency. There should be 5% of recurring head for travel. So basically there is a limit of those contingency content. But for, I'm telling you, if somebody don't know that, you can take the personnel's temporary staff, you can take as much as you require. If you feel that you need 4 project assistant, you can 4 there, if you can take. There is no, this is, I'm giving some kind of my experiences that the temporary persons are basically, the funding agencies do not have any objection on the temporary manpower. So this is a big advantage for any institution. So effectively justify those budget. And budgeting, common budgeting mistakes, that means the ratio of contingency, consumables, traveling. So that is different to different fund agencies. So I will not go. Maybe you can, if you are, when you are applying a specific call, there will be all the rules will be there. So this is, I told you that, if you do not, if you lack of facility, you can collaborate. This is one reason I told you. But collaboration and interdisciplinary projects are very much encouraged by the funding agencies. I find in DST also, when they got a project, even in recently there is a call of ANRF. In that call, they are proposing that you can take a collaborator from different institute as well as in the same institute from different department. So this is very important. But to get a project also, from this slide, what I want to inform you that you have to find the right collaborators. So right collaborator is very much essential. And the interdisciplinary approach, suppose I have a experience in X-ray diffraction. So maybe how I can apply the X-ray diffraction technique in getting analyzed the crystallography of a molecule of organic molecule or a inorganic material. So I have to find out the right teams in which, if we take those institute, my project will become more novel or more innovative. So in that case, people who know the Facebook and this Twitter, LinkedIn, ResearchGate, a lot of things are they writing. That is even it looks simple, but even I got benefited from those, ResearchGate, LinkedIn. I got myself benefited from those social or professional apps. So I have been telling the fund sources. There are different type of sources. I told you, government, private, as well as the international fundings, and also the most important, most relevant, and sometimes more tough is private funding. Because to get a funding from to grant from a funding agency is a very difficult. We know that the private industries or private funding agencies are, they will give us, yes. So they will give us money, they will give us fund, but they in return they want double. Suppose a private, suppose Tata Steel or Tata Chemicals, if they give us a 5 lakhs of grant of doing research, they want 10 lakhs, minimum 10 lakhs return from the research proposal. So this is, I think, quite it requires another presentations. And the I told you, we basically our faculties and research institution, they basically should apply on the thematic and call-based grants of DST, DBT, or other different kind of funding agencies. So this is one of the very important techniques. I'm putting it as a technique because you have to be very we have to be very naughty. We have to be very proactive in getting a research grant. We have to attend seminars, workshop, or conference, and communicate with the person, communicate with the scientist how to get a project and how he or she got a project. And we have to contact the program officers. Program officers means, suppose DST, for example, in DST, there are different program officers of different thematic projects. Suppose in a call of material science, there is one program officer or one point of contact. One officer will be there, and he or she has a details how and when to submit a proposal. So we should have a knowledge on the program contact officers. In many cases, I find that we do not have a contact with the program officers, and then we can definitely place an email to him, or even with the call to official numbers that is the time to ready a project, how to and when to submit a project, on what the thematic area, and these things these are the techniques or the tips I can say. So we should have a communication with the funding agencies before the call. Okay. And then after submission the grant proposal, this is the most frustrated, or I can say frustrated, or sometimes it become depression also. My project is rejected, because after submission of the project, everybody's project is evaluated, review. So in that case, the evaluation criteria I told you, basically on the novelty, new science, innovation, feasibility, potential of the concerned faculties or scientists, potentiality of the institution, a lot of things has been considered. So then in some cases, we got a comment that your project is not approved, or your project does not have a novelty, or some one or two lines in some cases, but in other cases, we got a detailed evaluation report. So we got a feedback. So if it is rejected, if it is accepted, then okay. But as for example, I found in one of my cases that particularly below 50% project are usually recommended for the grant. So I think post-award management, but before that, I want to speak on other things. But let me complete this slide. Suppose we got a project, then there is a lot of administrative, some kind of word I'm using, the administrative work are there. But scientists or researcher is like that. We also have to be administratively expertise. We should have also administrative capacities. We should also be able to write a report, to write a financial utilization certificate, or to make the procurement. A lot of administrative work are also there. That is, I think, I don't know, but this is required, and we have been doing, and I think it is essential. Because if you do not have the administrative, if you do not know the rules and processes of administration, then maybe because you are the PI of the project, so all responsibility with the PI. Definitely, you should have some knowledge on the government procedures and formalities, how to execute the procurement or the progress of the audit. Audit means the investment certificate and expenditure statement. A lot of things are there. So those are essential part of a researcher. So in case of what I'm telling, that the case studies, suppose I submitted a project. In my own example, I'm telling you that I submitted a project, then it will be reviewed, and then it is rejected. Then maybe they are telling that no, you do not have the facility, or you do not have expertise, or you do not have a novelty. So in that case, we should not stop there. We should not stop there. We should go to the very seriously on very with the comments of the reviewer. Then how to follow it up? How I can develop expertise? Is it by collaboration? But in collaboration, is in my own experience, the collaboration, we should collaborate with someone who is collaborating with you. I mean, there should be a two-way traffic. I'm telling why this word. If I want to collaborate with somebody, but he has no time, he or she does not have a time, or he or she is very much busy, then your project can have a hamper. So we should select the right collaborator in which there is a two-way contribution or two-way collaboration, and that can be mutually decided. What I suggest that there should be two-part component A, component B. Maybe component A will be done by the PI of one institute, and component B will be done by the other institute PI. So in that way, there should be an written, or there should be an fixed objectives or deliverables, so that the collaboration becomes the two-way traffic. And the last line, I'm telling you the homework or the basic work. So to get a project, suppose I have an idea with a very novel idea. I have the infrastructure facility in my institute. I have everything. I have done PhD from a very good institute, even though your project cannot be accepted. So one of the technique I am telling you that you should done some of the basic work on that proposal. If you done some part of maybe or 10 or 20% work on the proposal, and if you can show this in your presentation or in your proposal that this project I am submitting and I have done already this much of work and I got this lead, I got this results. So these results state that my project will be successful. So if you can stand with such of your homework, then your project has a chance to success. But if we are submitting a proposal only from my idea and I do not have tested it, I do not have done anything, I'm just telling from my intellectual, I'm telling from my own thinking or own knowledge, that people may not believe us. Whoever you are or we are, that is similar thing. If I take a bank loan from a bank, and if I successfully return the money, the second project will automatically come. The first loan was 1 lakh. If we are returning 1 lakh very nicely, then they will give us 10 lakh. So that means I have done a homework. I return. So in that way, if you can show that you have done this type of reactions in your lab, in your college lab, and get some data, get some photographs, get some evidence. So I find these days there is no, evidence is very important. I don't know is it right to say or not, but I told my student, they took selfie when taking coffee in the restaurant. They are visiting Delhi, Hyderabad, but they are not taking selfie during the experiment. If you take a photograph during the experiment, that will be your basic work, real evidence that you are doing. So small things sometimes may be very, very high impactful in getting a positive. So handling rejection, is very, very tough, and if one project is rejected, then we do not submit the next time. We leave it that a project to one apollo. So I don't know, but this is very, very bad. Rejection. If there is a rejection, that means there is some comments for improvement, and you can submit it. In my case, I will show one example that why reject, because of time management, resource limitation. So how to list it? So this is one of my comments in one of my first project. I'm telling you one of my first mega project. In that project, I want to make a prototype. So when I submit a proposal, they give me some of the points. What is the final specifications, cost calculations, comparative study, the commercially available, supply chain, imported, engineers, ESR, direct field trials, lot of. So those 8 points is very, very difficult to address. If somebody see these points, he will say that no, project when you do are very good. So those points, when I got it, I was very, 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 very. I was not happy. I was annoyed, and I'm telling how I can do the prototype in Jorhat. It is not a Delhi, Bangalore. How I can do in Jorhat? There is no facility, no things. Some people are telling that, feeling that yes, IIT, but some points which are not feasible in even IIT also. So how to get it done? Because those things you take your time and try to revise. This was another one of my project. You see this project was also rejected. So objectives are not clear. This project I got submitted in 2014. So that is why I'm telling there should be clarity in the objective. So 2014 I got this point. Now this is 2025, 11 years. So if you do not have clarity in the objective, you will not get a project. So these were rejected in 2014. So objective not clear. There's a mismatch between objective and project. It appears they never like to characterize these things. Is why ICPMS? This is a very high facility. Investigator do not have expertise. If you see a CSR institute got such comments. So what about whatever state government college. The project got important, but there are several studies in abroad. So it should be even it is a global issue. I'm addressing as a global issue, AMD, but they are telling that it is already available in abroad. So there are a lot of comments you'll be getting. You should not be, frustrated or should not be. Yes, you should have got. But both the project I got in my second time. I just want to say that both the project I got approved in my second submission. Okay, so thank you very much. So I think I want to summarize. So I mean, in summary, I don't know. I already told everything. So what I feel that in my individual capacity, I just want to encourage all the participants. If I believe all are present, I don't know the online participation. Sometimes people do not present. Actually, they just open put on the screen, and so if these 50% are present, I request all of you to submit this coming ANRF call. Okay, you submit a project because our Northeast India, our Assam has a lot of scientific problem, lot of scientific issues. You just write a 20 lakh or 25 lakhs project, and I believe and I know that if 50 numbers participant apply in the next NRF call, definitely there will be 25 faculty will get a project. So if I'm successful in motivating the participant of applying grant, I'm very happy. So if there is any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening and thought-provoking lecture. Your insights into project funding, how to identify research priorities, how to develop competitive research proposals, cost-effective budgeting, and strategies for fund acquisition and so on have truly enriched our understanding. We deeply appreciate the time and knowledge you have shared with us today. It has been an honor to have you with us, and I'm sure all our participants have found the session as inspiring as I did. Now, I would like to open the platform for interactions and questions. Dear participants, if you have any questions or reflections related to the session, please feel free to ask to our resource person, sir.
Yes. If a question necessary, if any questions, then definitely. So is there any participant from outside Assam? Okay, very good. Excellent. Yeah, Mizoram. Yeah, fine. Socials. Okay. So social science, is much more essential nowadays for us. We have to be very much socially, relevant or socially. But what I think there is some of the research areas like environmental awareness or environmental issues in society, or suppose skill development. Okay, the skill development, social awareness, or environmental issues, such type of project also you can submit in the there is a funding agency. I just forgot the name. Social Science Council, Indian Social something like Social Science Council is there. Just look into the website and Social Science Council. You can apply for grant. So I was not aware. I think all are from science. I mean, I find you told that as a most. How many are from? Okay, that's maybe because if they're already I completed my presentation. So just I am to remind you that I have to tell you that there are also funding for social science council. I do not have much. Chemistry ki manas?
Thank you for the engagement, everyone. And thank you, sir, once again. Now, to formally conclude this session, I would like to request Dr. Samindullah to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you.
Dear participants, we will also